Okay, so if we're going to talk about parkour, we've got to talk about precisions. A precision is a precise landing. Pretty self-explanatory. You jump from one spot, you land precisely on another. Now, this can be, precisely the size of a gigantic telephone pole, or precisely the size of a handrail, maybe even smaller. So learning to do that is a little bit tricky, but that's where I come in. Just so happens, I got a trick for that. Okay, so everything about this move has everything to do with your form. If you get this right, it will make it incredibly easy to start learning precisions. If you get this wrong, it will be frustrating and you will beat yourself over the head with something heavy. Hopefully you won't do that. So let's get started. First thing you gotta know, when you're landing, your heels are off the ground. You should be able to slide a smartphone underneath there. Your knees are bent slightly, not deep, not straight, bent slightly. Heels are up, back is relatively straight. You can bend forward just a little bit, but don't go too far. And your arms are out in front of you. Your eyes are off in the distance. Now, you want to keep your eyes on what you're jumping to. So when you're actually jumping, keep your eyes on where you're landing. But once you know you've landed, so once you stick that, you gotta kind of look off in the distance, because if you look down, your head's pointed down, that's where you'll go. When you land, you should be landing on the front pad of your foot, this area right here. You don't want to land in the arches, because once you start landing on things like curbs and rails, bars and walls, it runs the risk of damaging the arch of your foot, no matter how good your cushioning is. Landing here gives you the ability to flex and pivot and control your balance. You want to make sure that you're doing proper absorption. You don't want to land like a ton of bricks. So now, let's move on to a curve. So there are pluses and minuses to landing on small things. Some of the pluses are definitely, it makes it easier for you to keep your heels up. When you land on flat surface, you're naturally tempted to drop your heels because that's the way we walk. When you land on, say, a curb, like you just saw, it's easier to keep your heels up. Now, keep in mind, when you do this, if you drop your heels down below the edge of the curb, you're gonna fall backwards. So, for example, if your heels, say this is your heels, if your heels fall down below the curb, see what it does to the elbow? Well, the elbow is a lot like the body. It's gonna start pulling you backwards. So you wanna make sure that you avoid that. That's why you should start learning heels up. It's great work for your calves, but ultimately it's good for your form. You also have to be prepared to bounce backwards. Never throw your arms out behind you to catch yourself. That's just a bad idea. And you should keep your back straight and be prepared to do minor adjustments with your arms in order to land properly. So now let's go over some don'ts. You don't want to let your chest fall forward. I'll show you what that looks like. You don't want to land with your heels down. I'll show you what that looks like. And you don't want to land with straight legs. I'll show you what that looks like. They're all really bad for your form, and then they're just going to wind up throwing you off of whatever you're trying to land on. So here's those bad things. Chest too far forward. Chest too far back. Heels down. None of these things work. You have to make sure that your form is good. I guess the only thing left now is to talk about how do you jump. Pretty simple. Watch this. Jumping is pretty easy. Ready, set, go. Ready, just like how you're supposed to land. Set, kind of like this, just arms back, chest down, just a hair. Go. Arms swing forward, you catapult out. So here it is. Ready, set, go. Use your arms. They're 20% of your jumping power. Swing them. If you don't believe me, hold them behind your back, try jumping like that. Doesn't work too well. Swinging your arms, catapulting out through your legs. You're using your entire body to jump, not just a piece of you. Not just your legs, your feet, your calves, all of it, every bit of it. Yeah. So that's just kind of like an intro guide. Precisions take a lot of work, they take a lot of practice. No matter how good you are, you can always grow. You can always change, you can always modify. The best way to actually learn how to do precisions is to take everything I just taught you and then go out there and start doing a whole bunch of them. It takes practice, repetition, and you keep going from there. You can't learn parkour in a day. It just doesn't work that way. So we got some shirts on sale, pathmovement.com, madrepsclothing.com, briansdailygrind.com. Go get some. And then I think that the only thing that I've got left to say is come back next time. I'll teach you something new.